WWE rolls in on the road to WrestleMania to the State Farm Center on the 25th. Grab your tickets over at statefarmcenter.com. Drew McIntyre with me. And first thing, man, how was your Valentine's Day?
Quiet. The quiet is good these days. The wife and I have been together for, oh my goodness, over 10 years now. And as the years pass, we move further and further away from civilization. And my work is so crazy around people all the time. And now we live off in the countryside, away from everybody. And we had a nice little dinner in the house with our cats. So it was perfect.
Well, you can't ask for a better night home with your wife. Congratulations on 10 years of marriage.
Oh, thank you, buddy. Yeah, that's what it's all about. I guess it's finding somebody that can, understand, you, but also in our industry, our crazy, crazy life and, being nonstop all the time and can, be understanding when you spend 52 weeks a year on the road.
No doubt there. Speaking of being on the road, like I said, you're going to be at the State Farm Center on the 25th. Right now, you're teaming with Sheamus. And, the two of you beat the crap out of each other there for quite some time. I got to ask, does he hit harder than anybody else in the WWE?
Oh, 100%. I don't think it's even close. I'm pretty sure. He's hitting as hard as he possibly can most of the time, and for some reason his punches to the stomach aren't necessarily punches. Most of the time it's like the chop to the chest that Ric Flair is known for. When the open hand to the chest, he does that to your ribs just as hard as those chops to the chest, where you hear the noise and you see the red marks appearing. Yeah, he's not shy for slapping you all over the body, making those marks appear and messing up your ribs during matches. I got him in the same team now.
No doubt. We'll hear those slaps through the State Farm Center. This is the road to WrestleMania, and everyone talks about having their, the WrestleMania moment. You've had a few yourself, from winning the title from Brock Lesnar to cutting those ropes last year. Is there still a moment, though, that you want? Do you have something in mind?
Oh, yeah, I'm still chasing, winning the title in front of live fans. A singles championship. I know I held the world title twice in front of nobody initially, and then in front of the Thunderdome with virtual fans there. So I know I'd like opportunity to win the title with actual fans there live in person.
Right. Well, I mean, you did help us all get through the pandemic with that title win in that first ever 2-day WrestleMania.
So, I appreciate that. That was a team effort from WWE. I was proud to be champion at the time, leading the charge, and appreciate everybody that was tuning in. It was a scary time for the world, and WWE is the only original content at the time. We knew we had a certain responsibility, and as much as a lot of my clips from my title reign will not be shown too much because of the time period, I'm very proud we were able to get everybody through a difficult time.
And talk about WrestleMania moments. Is there one moment or even match that isn't yours that you look back on and you remember most?
There's two in my head right now. Bret Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin from WrestleMania 13, where, Bret went in as the good guy, I guess technically, and Stone Cold went as the bad guy, the anti-hero, and by the end, Stone Cold was the good guy and started off on the run that made him, the biggest star of all time, and mainstream, really took WWE to the next level. And the other one in my head is The Rock versus Hulk Hogan in Toronto. I believe was WrestleMania 19, just because it's not the match itself. You turn the volume off, the match ain't very good. But this industry is all about emotion and making the crowd feel something, and the noise they give you and what the performers give to them, and that's what it was all about. Is those two just stood there. The work was all done leading into the match, but interestingly, The Rock's supposed to be the good guy, Hogan's supposed to be the bad guy. The crowd were so behind Hogan. Suddenly, every person in the crowd who'd grown up with Hogan reverted back to a child, and seeing him there became Hulkamaniacs once again. And the noise was unbelievable. And the two talent in the ring are such seasoned pros. They went with the flow. They gave the crowd what they wanted, and they created a very memorable WrestleMania moment.
WrestleMania goes Hollywood this year, and typically the grandest stage brings out the big stars. In the last couple of years, we've seen Logan Paul, Bad Bunny get in the ring and hold their own. Is there anybody that you like to see lace up the boots and jump into the WWE?
I like to see in WWE. Everybody that's came in has done such a great job the past few years. Like starting from Ronda Rousey, who's obviously part of our roster now, and Logan Paul, who's killing it in every match he does right now. Johnny Knoxville, phenomenal match at WrestleMania last year.
That's true.
With Thor, Chris Hemsworth. You know, I spoke to him a couple of times and interviewed him. He seems like a good lad. He's from Australia. Seems not to be afraid to get in a couple of scraps himself. Keeps himself in great shape. Looks the part. I reckon he'd be a good fit.
So next WrestleMania, let's have Chris versus Drew, and that will be our main event.
So yeah, if you can bring the hammer, I'll bring the sword. See what happens.
I love that idea. Clash at the Castle happened last year, the first WWE UK premium live event in about 30 years, and this year we'll see Money in the Bank. Do you think WrestleMania could happen overseas at some point?
Oh, for sure. Clash at the Castle was just a prime showing of that. Something I've been shouting for the day I got signed pretty much to WWE. My first visit to Stamford when I was 22 years old, and I was asking, why aren't we doing shows overseas, specifically in the UK? You know, look at the soccer crowds, look how wild they are. You know, there's such a demand for it. It's one of our biggest markets. I guarantee it'll be huge. And every show we did over there, arena-wise, we're always gigantic. The crowd were always phenomenal. And finally, they bit, and we got a show. It was at the Clash of the Castle. And if you watch that show from beginning to end, the matches, quality-wise, are phenomenal from beginning to end, but the star of the show is the fans. And I've never felt anything like that in my life. I was so proud that the show happened. I was so happy to be on the show, but to main event, be fighting for the title and standing there in that ring and hear the crowd as loud as they were, over 50,000 people singing my name. And I feel like they had a rehearsal. It was crazy. Just everyone seemed to know the word to every song that had my name. It was just an unbelievable feeling. And the venom and hate is spewed at Roman Reigns as somebody who's supposed to be a bad guy, but gets cheered a lot of the times. He's a cool bad guy. But everyone in that arena that night was 100% hatred. The atmosphere was unreal. And like I mentioned earlier with Rock and Hogan, that's what it's all about, is making them feel something. And that night was pure emotion.
It was truly a great event to watch. And that match between you and him was truly great. And like you said, with the crowd there, we'll go ahead and start wrapping up here. When you hit the gym, we'll ask a couple quick questions like this. When you're hitting the gym, what are you listening to?
Well, such a variety. Pinpointing anything down, but I can bring up Spotify right now, and I can tell you what I was listening to like yesterday.
All right.
It's such a variety. All right, we got legendary live performances, a variety of artists. We got This Is Oasis,
Nice.
Jerry Cinnamon, John Lennon, Iron Maiden, Pearl Jam, Blink-182, and Guns N' Roses. This was just yesterday. And in general, it's such a variety. You know, I live in the Nashville now, so big in country music, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and the outlaw country kind of era. But generally, it's rock based.
That is such a wide eclectic range. You go from like Oasis to the Blink and to the John Lennon there, man. I got to have appreciation for that.
I'm from Europe as well, so you'll find some dance tracks on there and some trance music popping up occasionally.
All right. Well, in your downtime, you're sitting there at home with your wife. What are you guys watching?
Oh my goodness! I think we've powered through about every popular show there is over the past few years. Currently, The Last of Us is our favorite. Every week we're all excited for the new episode, and we finally started The Sopranos. People have been on at me for probably 20 years now to watch it, and I've seen every other popular show and legendary show, the Breaking Bads and the likes, and finally we've started The Sopranos.
Well, I can honestly say I've never seen a single episode of The Sopranos, so you're not alone in that and finally starting it.
It's very good. I recommend it. The first few episodes are very good, but obviously it can introduce you to the character you're supposed to care about, and it starts picking up from there.
No doubt. Well, safe travels to you here coming up this week with SmackDown and hitting the road for Elimination Chamber. We will see you in roughly a week on the 25th for the State Farm Center and the road to WrestleMania. Drew, thank you so much for the time this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and I can't wait to get back to Illinois. Those are some of our most passionate fans in the whole of America. Absolutely mental every single time, and I can't wait to hear you all on the road to WrestleMania because we're bringing our A game, and I know Illinois will too.